Hey real estate nerds, this is Alex Yoder with Pro Tip Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. And today I want to talk about House Bill 26-1196. If you go to the Colorado General Assembly website, you can just Google Colorado General Assembly and then put in 26-1196 in the search. You're going to pull this bill up, and what you'll find is that as of this moment, as of the recording of this video, it has not been signed by the governor, but it is on the way to the governor's desk. And the bill is pretty inconsequential, so I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't be signed. But as always, before you actually enact or change anything, if you're a housing provider, make sure that you are confirming that it's been signed before you do that, and then of course talking with your legal counsel. There are really two main things I wanted to highlight in this bill for those of you who are providing housing. So if you pull that bill up and scroll down to the bottom of page 4, there is a section that basically says a landlord shall include in all rental applications a notice to prospective tenants regarding the information and data the landlord will attempt to access when conducting a screening report. A general description of the factors the landlord will consider when evaluating the rental application, including a prospective tenant's credit history, rental history, income, and criminal background if applicable. It does mention whether if you're using like a third-party screening service, you're going to want to disclose the name of that service. And then there's one final point I'll bring up in a minute that it says as well that I wanted to cover in this video. But let me talk about the first part initially here. So basically what it's saying is, in your application, you should basically be telling people what you're looking at. Hey, we're going to be looking at credit. Hey, we're going to be looking at your criminal background or not, you know, however you want to do that. We're going to be looking at your rental history or not, however you want to do that. So again, you're just kind of generally saying what you are going to be looking at. And the big point here is this next piece, which is just below that, and it says, nothing in this section requires a landlord to adopt or disclose fixed disqualifying criteria. Nothing in this section requires a landlord to adopt or disclose fixed disqualifying criteria. Now, I think the intent of that language was probably to allow for some flexibility and situational exceptions, possibly in many cases to the tenant's benefit, because I think if you're too regulatory, you actually close the door to a lot of individuals who you might have wanted to make an exception for, and now you can't because you're not following your own fixed disqualifying criteria. And you know, you can kind of go down a rabbit hole in that regard. But I think it is generally best practice, and I think most housing providers would agree with this, that general best practice should be that you are just giving them as close as you can to what you are going to be looking at, but also what your minimums are. So again, this bill just says give them some general idea of the things you're going to be looking at, but I feel like you should also be giving them, hey, if we have a minimum credit score, this is our minimum credit score. If we are looking at housing references, then these are the things that we're going to be looking for. You haven't been late more than X number of times or whatever. So I think you really want to be as specific as you can, not only for the residents' benefit, because we don't want to just waste our time and waste people's money, but also for our benefit, because frankly, when you decline people, it creates a lot of contention. But for those of us who are doing it professionally, it creates a lot of one-star reviews when you're telling people you don't qualify. And so I think disclose is the best headspace to be in, regardless of what this bill says and regardless of kind of what is kind of positioned here going forward. Now, I will say in general, this legislative session is coming to an end, and it's been fairly light for housing providers. Maybe they're giving us 1 year of a reprieve because they've passed over 40 bills since 2018 directly pertaining to what I do every day and what you do every day. But we'll just have to see how that goes. I think there's a lot of fatigue in the housing landlord-tenant law world, and we've all certainly felt it. We're all still trying to catch up from the last couple of years, and how do we do this? How do we do that? How is this now being interpreted by judges and this kind of stuff to make sure that we're as compliant as we can be. So hopefully this was helpful, but still, as always, go read the bill for yourself, and we'll see you next week.